Okay, so welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be the first proper work video on the Ford Ranger, and the first thing we need to do is get this rear tub off and have a really good look at the chassis and see how bad it is. If you are enjoying these videos, please do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and hopefully there'll be many more videos to come on this one. So we won't waste any more time, we'll just get straight into it and see what needs to be done to get this tub off. Okay, so the plan at the moment is to get everything unbolted and all the electrics unplugged for the back of this pickup. And then I'm going to put a strap on these brackets, which I mentioned in the last video. Basically put a strap between those and put the engine crane on the back. That'll lift the back end up. And then hopefully me and my son will lift the front up and Sri will drive it out from underneath. And then we can put it back down on stands. That's the basic plan to get this back off at the moment. Like I said, nothing's set in stone. We've never done this before, so we'll see how that goes. But the first thing to do is get underneath and have a look for the fixings. I'm pretty sure there's 6 fixings on this. Some have got 4, some have got 6, but none of these pickups are held together by very much on the back. It's literally just a bolt-on part. So a couple of plugs, a couple of bolts, and then it's ready to come off. Okay, so this is the bolt that holds the front mount onto the tub. So we need to undo that one. There should be another 2 along each side, and obviously the same on the other side. So I'll look at that one. So this is the second one, or the middle one. It's about, well, it's quite close to the rear of the tub, and then the last one itself goes right at the end of the chassis rail. Actually in the end of the chassis rail, so that's the third one. So there's 3 other sides. So we need to try and get them undone. Hopefully they're not too rusted and will come out, and hopefully they don't snap. So we'll get those 3 undone and then look at the electrical connections. I don't think there's very many on it, and basically the tub is ready to come off then. So the first thing I need to do is get this arch lining out the way. It's obviously attached here and it's attached to the body. So we'll start there, and this is mostly just these plastic clips. There's a couple of rivets in here as well. Okay, so one thing I've realised obviously is the filler neck is attached to the body, so that will have to be disconnected as well. Okay, so the filler neck obviously is up inside the arch, and there's various bits to it. This is the, looks like the drain for the actual surround. This is the central lock-in electrics. The pipe itself isn't really connected to anything, so that should come out. I think it's bolted on there, but yeah, there's a little bolt here, so I'll undo that, and then this will all be loose. So in theory I don't have to undo it, which is quite handy, but you can just see how much mud and stuff is under here. So I'll get that done, and then we'll get the bolts undone. Okay, so that's everything undone here. It's literally that pipe, and that should just pull out. So you've got a breather that was connected here, the electrical connector, which you just need to press that in to release it, pull it down gently, obviously very carefully, and this is the drain for the actual surround. Everything else should stay with it. So that's that bit done. The only other electrical connections then are things like the rear number plate lights and tow bar, and that's pretty much about it. Obviously I've got extra electrics coming in through the tub from where it had the canopy on, so they'll have to be fed back through, but now it's just a question of undoing the bolts. Okay, so underneath the rear we have the number plate lights. They came out unplugged, so that's good. This is the rear lights on the actual tub, which should unplug, except that there is a single wire on the other side as well. If I could show you that. There's a secondary wire cable tied to it, which you need to trace back, or I can just unplug the lights and put the plug down. The only other thing then is this is like the reversing bleeper warning signal, and that's just an earth and a live, but I've tried to undo these screws and they're not having it, so I'm just going to cut these off and then rewire it later on, so that should be fine. And again, obviously the same on the other side. I'm assuming this must be part of the electrics for the canopy, because all those wires are yellow. It must pick up a signal for something from here. So I'm just going to cut that one off and pull it through. If we need it later on, we can always reattach it. So the rear light unit's bolted into T30 Torx, I think they are. Yeah, two T30 Torx, and then clips on the sides. You just pull them out this way, so pull it straight back. So that's that wire off. I'll put this back in temporarily, and we'll have a look at that later on. Okay, so it's the following day now. It did get a bit late last night when we were removing the tub. I did put it on time lapse because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take, but actually it was very straightforward. It went better than planned, so that wasn't too bad at all. So the next job then will be to get some of this mud off. Now, because it's dry, I think the best thing to do will be to literally just brush some of it off, or dig some of it out. Get a screwdriver and just, there's loads of it just everywhere, so we'll clean some of this off with a brush and screwdrivers and stuff, then get the pressure washer out, give it a good wash off, get it as clean as we can, and then start cleaning up the metal. So this will be a bit of time lapse because this is going to be a long boring job, I think, getting this clean. So that'll be the first thing, just give it a good clean up and then start having a look at just how bad some of this metal is.
don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want.
Okay, so we've made a fairly good start on cleaning up the chassis, as you can see. So we brushed off all the loose dirt, then gave it a pressure wash, cleaned it all out as best we can. Then we started cleaning up the metalwork itself. Now the first job was to knock off a lot of the rust with this needle scaler. So this is quite an old school tool. It's basically an air hammer with these needles. They're steel needles and they just vibrate backs and forwards, and then knock off any loose rust. Quite effective but quite slow, very laborious and not a great job. Very noisy, not nice at all, but it does work. So you can see where it knocked off the rust here and it cleaned it up back down to solid metal, so that's good. So the next job then was to get the wire brush on the angle grinder and just clean off all the surface rust. So you can see bits of this here where, I mean, it's very pitted, but it is metal. You can see it's shiny there. Some bits are a lot better than others. So this side is pretty good, but the chassis itself is a lot worse than we thought. It's a lot worse. This cross member obviously is very bad. It's no point cleaning it up. We know this is going to be replaced anyway, so I'm just going to cut that out. So that's not an issue. But what is an issue is this rear spring hanger. On the other side it's fairly good. This side it obviously is rusted through, but that's not really going to be a major problem. I'm just going to put a plate in across here to here once this is gone, and I'll have some solid then to weld the new cross member to, and that will strengthen everything in together. The actual mount itself is solid, so once that's cleaned up, that new piece will weld over there quite nicely. So that's that. The back end all looks fairly good. Tow bar obviously still fitted, so the advantage of having the tow bar fit is it actually keeps the rear end where it should be. Those chassis rails aren't going to move because this tow bar is solid, although it is rusty. Moving along the chassis, there's holes obviously in the top here. These aren't too bad. They should just, we'll cut a little plate and put it in there. That's fairly good. Sides are all solid. Underneath is fairly solid, but where the real problem is down here. So this is the middle of the chassis basically. This is the cab, the back of the cab, and this is the front mount for the tub. And you can see just how bad that is here. It's gone all the way up here, probably all the way up to about here I would think. But this needs replacing desperately. here is fairly solid, but down here it's gone really bad. If I can show you. So there, it's gone really bad. So I think what I got to do, I think I've got another piece of that 100mm box section. I'm going to cut a piece out like an L shape and then slot it under here. So I'll cut this out, slot it under, weld it onto here, weld it onto this bracket, because once that's cleaned up that'll be solid. I'm going to cut this mount about here, across here, and that will give me access to the back of this. Obviously it's rusted through here. So once that's off, I'll leave the top piece in so that's in the right place, and then put the plate in behind it and weld it into here, and then reinforce this again once it's back together. But that's going to be in the next video. I'm going to carry on now cleaning this and cutting it out, make a start, and I'll bring you back for the next. So if you are enjoying these videos, please do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and I'll see you again shortly on the next one. Thanks for watching. See you soon.